am sure sports. You know me there, I'm coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never seen a game, me not know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you are gonna love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember, like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.
Trick-Nick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices, add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick-Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
All right, good afternoon. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports. Hope you had a good day. For all the men who went to church, hope you had a blessed day at church, all right? So good to be with you today. You know, we weren't here at the beginning of the game or at the end of the game, but we have our stuff ready and we have some of our panelists ready with us. We're having some technical difficulties with one, so we're going to see how that pans out. Hope everything can be sorted out, but his camera seemed to be giving some problems, so we don't know. We're going to bring him on and hopefully see if maybe the phone can be used and work it out, right? So we are going to look at this Qatar versus Ecuador game, but big up to the sponsors first. The sponsors of this video are Prestige Finance. Prestige Finance, lending a helping hand when you need it the most. Prestige Finance is located in Linstead, St. Catherine, Jamaica, and they're offering you loans of up to $100,000. Just call Prestige Finance at 876-884-7390, right? And they will help you right there. There's no processing fee, same day processing, and on 0 to 4% interest rate. Also to launch Legacy, where they handle risk and they seek legacy for all your personal insurance needs in Canada and the USA. Visit Launch Legacy at launchlegacy.com or call or text them at 647-989-0782. Listen, this is a place you can advertise your business, especially during this time of the World Cup. As the platform continues to grow, you can grow your brand by marketing and advertising your products here. And I Am Sure Sports, it could be free. You never know. As long as you have a product that in the long run we can benefit from, we can partner and do some business together. So give us a call at I Am Sure Sports or text us at 876-373-6449. All right. So like we said, we're going to welcome to everyone in the chat. All right. We have with us first and foremost, he's going to be joining us. You may not be able to see his face immediately. Hopefully we can get that figured out, sorted out. He's having some issues, but he is the man. You'll know his voice because he is part of Kingston College coaching setup there. Former youth coach here in Jamaica, runs the Genesis Academy out there in Manchester. coach at St. Elizabeth Technical, all over the place. So he's Andrew Edwards, and he's going to break the game down for us. We're going to give you all the stats from duels won, passes in the opponent's half, passes in own half. We're going to give you all the stats concerning the game so you can see it. I hear many people saying that Qatar should have bought players with some of the money instead of bought funds. But let's welcome Sir Edwards to the show. Coach Andrew Edwards, welcome again. Good to have you. And
Greetings, man. Blessings to the viewers and supporters of the show.
Wonderful, man. Been a while. People have been asking, man, what about the 10 o'clock Friday show? But I said that, the man come on the platform, the man got hired, the man get busy. You understand me? Some stuff going every time I have a show with a person, they get a job. So I don't know. So I keep losing people because they get jobs once they start a show. But congratulations.
Yeah, respect and thanks. Well, I mean, in all truth, it's just for us to really lock in and try and make it happen. Because we still can make it happen. Maybe Friday morning is not necessarily the best time always, but we can still do a thing. So if the people want it and we can find something interesting to talk about, we can set it up.
All right. Sounds good. And congratulations on your school qualifying for the semifinals of both the Manning Cup and the Champions Cup. Having defeated Central yesterday, and defeated in your last game, defeated Mona to qualify for the semifinals of the Manning Cup. So congratulations as well.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much.
To you and the entire team at Kingston College.
Absolutely. It's a great group of young men that we have working with, and it's a very competent staff as well, and good support from management, and of course the spectatorship. You know that part already. So it's going well in spite of the different challenges and so on. And we're looking forward to end the season very, very strongly and celebrate some success at the end of it.
Wonderful. All right, so were you able to first tell me about the start of the World Cup? I mean, what does this mean to you as a coach, and what are your thoughts on the first game? And you can just give us your breakdown of it.
Yeah, so always excited to experience the World Cup from a distance. Looking forward to the day when we experience it from the sidelines or in the stands, at whatever level. Actually tuned in very early and got some of the opening ceremony. Was very impressive. Lot of lighting and effects, and some of the messages, especially the conversation between what's his name again? Big movie star. Jesus, his name escaping me at the moment. But he had a conversation with one of them Arab guys who seemed to have some kind of abnormality. We seem to have no legs, and the conversation was extremely inspiring and encouraging. It spoke a lot about inclusivity and being tolerant and the fact that we're all living on one tent that called Earth, and in spite of the different... Morgan Freeman, thank you very much.
Thank you, Peso. Not me, it was Peso.
Oh, big up yourself, Peso. Yeah, and the conversation, it was really encouraging, because I think it is one of the weaknesses of human nature that we tend to focus more on our differences than the things that we have in common. And that is the takeaway for me. I don't know who else watched it and what their takeaway was, but the lighting and the effects, and it was just really a nice delivery from the Qataris, and very impressed with it, quite frankly. Turning our attention to the game, it was clear that the Qatari players, as we'd say in Jamaica, buckled under the pressure. That early that the weight of expectation showed in no uncertain manner in the first couple of minutes of the game, and the maturity and experience of Ecuador on the other side of the coin came through quite nicely. But then when you look at the development trajectory of the players from both teams, which was an interesting thing that the pregame show brought to our attention, the age, the profile of the players, how many caps they have, how many years they've been playing when they made the debuts and all of that, where they play in the club football. And you could see the big disparity with Qatar and Ecuador from that standpoint alone. Overall, I think the game was clearly dominated by Ecuador. Certainly the first stanza. They won pretty much in every department of the game.
You want us to, if you want, I can put on screen some of the stats from the game so you can see it, and maybe, as you talk, you can probably talk to speak to some of those things. So let me, almost any one of the stats you want to look at. So you can look at dribbles. You see that last possession, duels won, right? So let's go goalkeeper save. So I don't know what from ball possession, everything is here.
Yeah, if you could give me the simpler version, I don't want to get into the deep analysis, and especially because it's coming up small on the screen too. But
okay,
but long and short of it though, Ecuador was supreme and dominant. They dominated the possession, they dominated positional play, they dominated shots on target, touches in the opponent box, recoveries, you name it. The two central midfielder,
Caicedo.
Yeah, Caicedo and Mendes. They were really, really dominant. I was very impressed with the number 19 young man who is only 20 years old.
Plata. Gonzalo Plata.
Yeah, man. Very, very impressed with him. As I was also with the young centre half who's also 20 years old.
Felix Torres.
Yeah, man. They acquitted themselves very, very well.
Like I said, the average age of the I think you mentioned that the average age of the Ecuador team is 26.2.
Right.
You've seen that, and Qatar is 29.4.
Yeah, so but you look at their international experience now.
Yeah.
It's a different ball game,
Yes.
So you look at the captain, for example, that scored the 2 goals.
Ener Valencia.
He has been playing since 2012. That's 10 years of international football in Havana and belt already. I think the number 10 have about the same number of years as well, and so on. So, and then where they are playing their club football is another factor that came into being. But in terms of style of play, I think both teams had close enough similar style of play. Ecuador set up in a 4-4-2. Qatar set up more in a 3-5-2, 5-3-2 setup. And both teams, you saw that they were trying to play through the lines, playing through the thirds of the pitch, trying to connect with from back to front. The difference with Ecuador, I think, is that they were a little bit more patient and they were a little bit more intentional as well.
Yeah, direct.
So what you saw them doing was basically they kept possession in one side of the field, particularly their left side, with the number 7, the left back guy that plays for Brighton.
Estupian,
right?
Yeah.
So they kept the possession in that side of the pitch a lot, and then once it moved to the other side of the pitch, they had a quick cross. So that was their basic strategy based on my observation, to draw 4, 5, 6 of the Qataris to one side of the field, then switch it quickly with 2 or 3 passes, and then have a cross coming into the box really, really quickly. The right fullback for them, I think he wore the number 13 jersey.
The right fullback?
Yeah, for Ecuador.
Let me give you his name. The right fullback was...
I think he played at number 13.
Number 13?
No, 17.
Number 17.
Yeah, Preciado.
Preciado, yeah.
Yeah, he was the one delivering a lot of those crosses from the right-hand side of the park.
He got a 7.9 out of 10. He was one of the highest outside of Valencia. Who is a captain. He has the highest score.
He had a really big impact on the game. I am surprised that Plata's rating was so low, because I thought his influence on the game was a bit more. But
yeah, but this is amazing because generally, if you look at like just the defense of Ecuador, I mean, only one person, Felix Torres, the number 2, 6.6. All the others are 7.
Sevens, yeah, which is extremely good.
Yeah.
You know, and the truth be told, they were not really asked. A lot of questions were not asked of them because Qatar didn't really put a lot of pressure on the ball when the defenders had it.
Yeah, because the expected goal for Qatar was like 0.32.
Exactly.
So it's almost like they weren't expected to score.
And
yeah,
Qatar didn't really win a lot of possession of the ball either. What they did was to benefit from some errors. A lot of the errors were, people trying to play what I'd call iris passes, trying to get the strikers, or sometimes the connection just the ball's over it or under it, or people run a little too quickly and the pass play behind them. So that's how Qatar really got possession most of the times. It wasn't like they were pressing and cornering Ecuador into situations where they actually give up the ball or Qatar was able to pick the ball off them. So
it's amazing though that a nation who was given the World Cup, I mean, more than 4 years ago, I mean, didn't strategically plan like how the team probably would be constructed. That's number one. How the team would be constructed. And, I don't know if you can buy players or get players who would come in and play, but it just seems like from what we are seeing from them, like they are not going to go through.
I beg to disagree. I think they would have put a lot of investment into getting this team to where they are. They have played a lot of friendly internationals, most of them behind closed doors over the past 4 years. But I think it's just a gap in quality and also the level of development of the game within Qatar itself. I know they have their what they call it, Aspire Academy, that they which was launched probably about 3-4 years before the World Cup was given to them, I think. Don't hold me on that one.
Yeah.
But they have the Aspire Academy which is where they have been trying to grow the game, But as a football nation, Qatar is in an embryonic stage, probably even younger than Jamaica as a nation in football terms. And were it not for their financial resources, their team would not be as strong as it were. They have a foreign coach. They're trying to grow the league, and they have a lot of foreign coaches in the league and so on like that. They're trying to attract top players, but they are not at that level yet.
Is it bad for the World Cup if, as hosts, they get knocked out they didn't go past the group stage, which looks very likely now? Is that
South Africa didn't go past the first stage.
Okay.
And there are many other examples, I'm sure. Or there would be other examples, I'm sure. It would be good for the host nation to go further into the competition, but certainly when the World Cup started going outside of Africa of Europe and South America, the chances of the host nation exiting the World Cup very early was always going to be on the cards. If you remember, in 2002, Japan got knocked out of the World Cup in the first round. Had it not been for South Korea getting to the semifinals, none of those two host nations would have had any part to play in what you would call the final, the latter stages of the competition. So it is what it is. I don't expect them to win a game. I think they
expect them because if their expected goal is 0.32, do you expect them to score a goal? Because if they can't breach Ecuador defense, there's no way they're breaching Netherlands defense. and the Senegal defense with Koulibaly and Mendy in goal
should be a lot much more difficult as well.
It's going to be harder.
Yeah. Quite honestly, I didn't see much from them that would inspire the chances of them scoring a goal. I should check the odds on that and see what JustBet offering on Qatar scoring a goal.
You have to ask Peso. Peso is a betting man, Peso said he began with a win, So obviously he won something at JustBet. today on the game.
Yeah, I saw a man on Facebook calling the exact score 2 hours before the game started.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa.
2-0 to Ecuador. But it's a nice start to the World Cup. I think the right team won. And I know there are a lot of controversies and speculations and innuendos and all sort of other stuff that are hanging around the World Cup.
I'm going to tell you one of the things that happened. I don't know if you heard this, but many people felt like the officiating would go in favor of Qatar. So
yeah, well, certainly when the first goal was chalked off.
Yes.
You don't want to see some of the memes that have been doing the rounds or meme, but
it was offside. It was offside though.
By the technology it was,
By the technology.
Yeah, and we have to appreciate that because that's where the game has gone, right? So it's not like I'm saying that in a cynical or frivolous manner. I'm saying it for what it is worth. Without that technology, that goal would have stood. Yeah, and what we would want to see as fans and as a technocrat in the game is that the technology is used in the most appropriate way at all times. So that the right decisions are made, as was this in this case. But I think that perception comes from a lot of the things that happened leading into the World Cup. Personally, I really don't want to have any part to do with any of that kind of stuff. Yeah. I just want to enjoy.
And it was a full stadium.
Exactly.
So nobody can complain that fans not turning out because the stadium was sold out.
Exactly, 100%. And the stadium pitch was pristine, boy. The field was in immaculate condition.
You didn't feel like the Ecuadorian players were struggling with the heat or anything or the climate.
Well, I didn't see any evidence of that. To be quite honest, at one time I was looking at the game and I was wondering, them man look like them are playing one nice cool temperature,
Yes.
Yeah, but I think before the World Cup started, I was looking at some data relating to the average temperature at the different times a day, and the games that will be played at 11 o'clock should all enjoy pretty much standard summer temperatures around the world, so to speak. Obviously it's going to be a little bit higher here and there, but it's not, the variance is not that wide.
Okay, all right. Big up to all the persons who are in the comment section. As usual, we ask if you appreciate the content. Please remember to hit the like button. And if you're not a subscriber to the platform, you can go ahead and do so. All right, share what we're doing with other persons as well. All right, so Coach Edwards, now from this group, we also have our own brackets and things. So I'm going to take this off the screen because with this result, what I'd love to know from you is, does it change your pick for who comes out of this group, or you're kind of, you made your picks already and you're sticking with it? I don't know if when you see Ecuador, maybe I don't know if you had them.
I didn't have them as a qualifier, but then when I was when I was watching the game and listening to some of the statistics, they are now approaching 11 hours of football without conceding a goal, which is amazing. And they don't score a lot of goals, but they have people who can score. So I think I picked the Netherlands and Senegal to come out of the group, with the Netherlands topping the group. So I think the decider is going to be the game between themselves and Senegal.
So you have who coming out?
Netherlands and Senegal.
Okay, so what does that mean now? In terms of, all right. What does that mean in terms of? Though Ecuador won, you believe that Senegal would beat them as well?
Yeah, man. I think, I think Senegal, the game between them and Senegal is going to really decide the second place. But I think Netherlands will have the better all of the teams in the group.
So, but I'm asking this because, wouldn't it stand to reason that if this game because now all Ecuador need is to draw, don't it?
Draw with who?
Against Senegal.
Not necessarily. Then what if Senegal give Qatar 3-love or 4-love?
Okay, then goal difference.
Yeah, so
Goal difference to determine who goes through.
exactly.
So you still believe that Senegal can?
Yeah, man, I think so. I think so. Because I really believe Senegal is going to wall up Qatar. You understand? I think Senegal will be too strong for Qatar.
I see Duckland Stennett saying that he believes that he's betting that either Senegal or Netherlands will draw with Qatar.
Interesting. I don't think so though.
Yeah, that I am not convinced. Based on what the evidence of play, I think what is happening now is that, so we had this bracket thing that we were doing, but because the World Cup has started, it is basically asking you to, yeah, let me see if I can get it here. Yeah, it wants you to enter and but I don't want. So it's turning it's not allowing it to do how we normally do it, which is for you to go through it because the competition has started. So you basically, it is asking you to go through the what you call it? Asking you to go through it in terms of playing and entering and submitting who you think is going to win and all of that, which is what I don't want you to go through. I just want you to kind of, but we can do it. We can just
yeah, man, we can, because I excuse me, I have my zone picks. I haven't gone beyond the zone picks except in the fact that.
All right, so because once you pick the zones, then we can all the program allows you to line up who you would meet in the next round.
So if you want to go ahead and fill them in, that's fine. We can work with it.
All right, send submit it, bro. Let's see if we can. All right.
They can set it up for me then and we just work with it.
All right, so let's see if we can get it because it keep on asking me to do this.
Manins, is there any way that I can see the comments while I'm...
Oh, you want to see the comments? All right. All right. Qatar will be the beating stick in this group. You're not seeing them?
No, only what you post on your screen. So I can't see the general comments.
No, man. All right. So on your device, yes, because you were typing something in the private.
Oh yeah, I figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to go up to the comment part now.
Yeah, man, I figure it out.
I think Qatar will be everyone beating stick. Stefan says. And then Foreign Spider says Qatar could probably have played better. They look nervous, especially the keeper. And that could be true too. Maybe they will look better.
You remember saying that the
yeah,
rate of expectation showed, especially in those opening minutes.
Yeah. So that could be part of it. Maybe it is the first game and everybody's there. Then So the first group you're picking.
I'm picking the Netherlands to win. And then Senegal to come second.
Okay. And in the second group, you have USA, Wales, Iran, and England.
I pick England and the USA in that order.
England and the USA.
Right.
Whoa. All right. Somebody's I am sure. Manins, which team is your team? Well, I'm bringing Brazil. Let's say that I am bringing Brazil to win this World Cup. Just for the JPL people, the game between Tivoli Gardens and Falkland ended 2-2. Falkland scored with the last kick of the game to equalize. All right. So Coach Edwards says that he's going in Group A. Let's see if we can do that, right? Let's see if we can help him. Group A.
Netherlands, Senegal.
Yeah, right. Netherlands versus Senegal.
No, Netherlands and Senegal. 1 and 2.
Coming through. All right. Group B is going England
USA.
and USA. All right. Group C has Argentina, Mexico, Poland, and Saudi Arabia.
Argentina and Mexico.
Okay, no surprises there. All right. Group D, Australia, Denmark, France, Tunisia.
France and Denmark.
Who, France winning, Denmark second.
Yeah.
All right. Group E, Costa Rica, Germany, Japan, and Spain.
Spain and Germany.
You're going very traditional teams here, but let's go ahead. Group F, Belgium, Canada, Croatia, Morocco.
Belgium and Croatia.
You see, these are very traditional picks. It's just like these are the traditional nations, all right? Brazil, Cameroon, Serbia, Switzerland.
Brazil and Cameroon.
All right. Well, that's kind of different. Ghana, South Korea, Portugal, Uruguay.
Ghana and Uruguay.
People, the man of Cristiano Ronaldo going home. Can you believe that? All right. So if you pick Netherlands and the USA, you'd have because Group A plays Group B, right? Mm-hmm. So what that would mean is that England would play Senegal and USA would play Netherlands.
In the round of 16.
Yeah.
All right. Just from here, I would pick the Netherlands to beat the USA.
England, Senegal.
I'm going to give England that one.
All right. Then you'd have Argentina, Denmark, and then France versus Mexico.
I'm going to pick Argentina to beat Denmark and France to beat Mexico.
Okay. Then you'd have Germany playing Croatia and Belgium and Spain.
Oh man, I don't think so. If it's one play two and two play one, it's Belgium, Germany, and Spain, Croatia.
Oh, so Spain, you have Spain to top the group?
Yeah, man.
Where is Demo? Hey, you're the first person. Some people don't have Spain coming out of the group,
Well, we see.
Because they're saying that Spain don't have any number 9 or center forward.
We'll see. Spain win the World Cup without a number 9.
Wasn't David
Villa?
Yeah.
Here or there, but I wouldn't call him a classic number 9.
And wasn't even Torres on the bench?
Yeah, Torres played in that World Cup, I think.
Yeah, so you mean they didn't have one? Of course,
but
they
not much matching play. What minutes in play?
All right. Listen, I think this, and they have Jordi Alba playing left back against these speedy young Japanese. I don't know. I just think Spain may struggle. I think Spain is going to struggle. But it's your pick, so we're not going to fight that. But you have Ghana and Uruguay. You said Ghana topping it and Uruguay coming second. So which would mean Brazil going up against Uruguay and Cameroon and Ghana playing.
Yeah, that's how me see it, So I would pick Ghana to beat Cameroon and Brazil to beat Uruguay.
I get the feeling that it's because Thomas Partey plays for Ghana,
Yeah, man. You want me to say it out like that?
I just feel like this is an Arsenal thing going on right here. But I'm just going to skip to you. Who do you have in the final, and kind of tell us why you think it's going to be this way, or anything else you want to speak about leading up to the finals, and why you?
Quite frankly, I have not actually gone through the bracket like we're doing just now. We just know that Brazil will win the World Cup. That's all. We don't want them to play the final. But
you know that Brazil, if all things goes how we predicted, Brazil could end up facing Argentina in the semifinals to go through.
That's fine.
Because they're on the same bracket.
That's fine.
And the last time the last victory between those teams, it went to Argentina in the Copa America.
In the Copa America in the finals.
Yes.
Neymar gave friend Messi something for the power one.
You think though, but tell me about where you think the strengths in the Brazil team lies, and where are the weaknesses? Where is it? What they call a chink in the armor?
I think the biggest weaknesses in the Brazil team to me are the wing back areas. Because typically we have real world class wing backs coming out of Brazil. I don't think we have any of those right now. Yeah, I think the wing backs that we have are average, so to speak. Yeah, are regular.
Alex Telles,
Yeah,
Sancho,
the virgin
Dani
from
Alves.
Danny, 45 now.
I don't think he's that old.
39.
But he's old.
Yeah, I mean, him going to play, but I don't think he's going to play a lot. As a matter of fact, I think he's more there for the dressing room than anything else. But the strength is really in the front of the team. You know, the front of the team will be where Brazil will be most dominant.
Could team selection affect them, especially in the area of midfield? You can almost like say, okay, it's going to be Neymar and Vinicius Jr. and I don't know, probably Richarlison.
The coach has shown a favor for Richarlison as a number 9 in our last couple of games. I don't think it's a big deal, quite frankly. Vinicius should start and Neymar. But I think Neymar going to play more as a 10 and not as one of the front three. So that would leave Rodrigo and the other strikers a chance to get out on the pitch as well, including Jesus and Gabriel Martinelli to get out there. I think the starting midfield is going to be Fred, Neymar, and Casemiro. I think that's going to be the trio in the middle of the park.
What? No, Gumarez? No,
I don't think so. I think
no Paqueta.
No, I don't think any of those guys are going to start either Fred and
Casemiro.
I think
Fred is going to start.
I think so. Yeah. He has always seemed to find favor with Tite, and him seem to excel when he put on the yellow shirt. You know. So I think the way Brazil plays suits Fred better. You know,
than Manchester United.
Well, I didn't want to say that, you know.
Militao, somebody's saying, Outer East is saying that Militao, Real Madrid man, he's going to play right back.
Right back. I think so too. I think he'll start at right back.
Okay. And I see Duklan up here, as you mentioned, Cameroon coming out. He says up here, there's no way Cameroon get by over Portugal. Portugal looking dangerous in their warm-up matches. But I saw some images where there was some issue between Joe Felix and Cancelo with some tackle, and Ronaldo apparently was trying to, I don't know, as a captain, probably have some peace with Cancelo, but he wasn't buying it. And then there was some conflict between Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes as well. Could those kind of things really affect a team, or when it is the World Cup and when these guys step on the field, all of those things are put aside and they just get to, I mean, you have been a coach. How important is this cohesiveness with players and good relations in a major tournament like this?
It's 100% very, very important. You don't want to. Football is like a battle, you know. You're going to war, and you don't want to be going to war and be looking over your shoulder and wondering if the man was supposed to be there is there, or if him going fire for him gun when him supposed to fire it. You understand? If him going throw a grenade when him supposed to throw a grenade, you don't want to have those doubts in your mind. And I think where Portugal is right now, there is some discard, there is some trepidation and anxiety too, because although all these players are professionals, that big bust up with Cristiano Ronaldo and Manchester United will be affecting him Now, the good thing about it affecting Cristiano Ronaldo is that he generally thrives on these things and comes with more fire in face of these kinds of adversities. But then you talk about him and Fernandez having a bust up. And that could be...
Well, some person are saying that it is fake news, but the one with Cancelo and Joe Felix is real. That happened in training and the videos are out there. And Ronaldo went over there and grabbed his head. So that is not fake news. There are actual videos of that happening. They may have resolved it, because sometimes...
And of course, you expect team management and team leadership to step in and stamp out that immediately. Especially if they are aspiring to win the World Cup. It is a fact that they are a powerhouse team. And you expect them to really do well in the World Cup. I've just chosen Cameroon because I want to choose Cameroon, not necessarily because I think they are genuinely better than Portugal.
I watched the Cameroon team versus Jamaica, and I know some of the players.
But only one player in that game going to the World Cup,
Abubakar.
No, I think the captain, the team captain, was able to play a few minutes because his club season was called to a halt early enough. But so take away those two players, nobody else who played against Jamaica going to the World Cup. So that's not a good measuring stick, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. Somebody here is saying, and this is an issue that I'm concerned about. And Rajic Sharp is saying the same thing. You can't start Fred over Fabinho in Brazil midfield or Guimaraes, right? Do you think like this is what is going to lead to the demise of Brazil?
No. Go back to probably the last 5 or 6 Brazil games. Fred play over the two of them. So I mean, if unless Guimaraes and Paqueta them show the coach something different in the last couple of months and during the pre-game preparations, Fred will play.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's some other news that Karim Benzema is going to be out.
Yes, he has been replaced. He has been replaced by what's the striker name? I'll replace him again. Oh gee, I was reading it this morning and I forget.
All right, I can find it for you. But what do you? I mean, this is the second striker because and Konko.
And Konko.
He's also out. He has been replaced by the striker that plays over there in Germany as well. Do you think like France losing those two strikers affect them?
Yeah,
or they're still good enough?
I think France losing the players that they have lost will definitely affect their team in a significant way. But the good thing about France, I've always admired the rate at which they produce talent. It's amazing. I mean, you think about N'Golo Kante not being able to
because he did say there is no additional players this time around. They just brought in Kolo Munier. That was a player that was called up to replace Nkonko. But the coach did say that no player will be brought in to replace Benzema.
They said that no replacement has been brought in?
Yeah, they just brought in Kolo.
No, man. Well, maybe they haven't brought in a replacement yet, but they will be allowed a replacement. That's a rule. Once he's declared unfit to play in a tournament 24 hours before the first game, he can be replaced.
Okay. So what do you think though? I mean, because Pogba is out, Benzema is out, and Kuku is out.
N'Golo Kante is out.
Yeah.
So I was making the point about how France seem to just churn out talent like it's a joke thing. Them. So you look at the midfield now, and I think we're going to see the rise or the introduction to the world of some young midfielders in the shape of Kamavinga and Chouameni.
Chouameni, yes.
Yeah, I think one or both of those two guys going to really light up the World Cup. In terms of the front line, they still have Giroud, they still have Mbappe, they still have Griezmann.
Yeah.
What's the guy name at Bayern Munich again?
They have Dembele.
Dembele. The guy, what's his name? Coman, Kingsley Coman.
Yeah, Coman.
They're not short of options this, in the front part of the team and experience, you know. And I think at the back of the team, they're still very, very strong and powerful, you know. So I still see them as a dangerous team. And I think, as in life, football has a way of creating opportunities for unknown entities to just rise to the occasion. And I think that's what's going to happen with this French team.
I see here Duclan also saying that when Man, and he's a Man U fan, he says Man U doesn't lose when Fred and Casemiro are in the midfield. I don't know. Is that true?
Well, I haven't watched all of their games, but yeah. I'm speaking from a Brazil perspective, right? I think probably the last 5-6 games, Fred and Casemiro start all the times for Brazil, or at least most of the times when both are available. So I don't really think that partnership is going to be changed just so. I'll be very surprised if that happens.
Okay. What about England? I mean, because we watch a lot of English football, and somehow, you know, we probably drink the Kool-Aid that England is fantastic and they're going to do well because we are more familiar with the English league for the most part than some of the other leagues. And so we kind of use it to gauge players a whole lot. What do you make of this English squad? You know, what they haven't gone to the semifinals of the World Cup, gone to the finals of the Euros. Could they now? So from semifinals to finals where they lost, could they now go one step further and win the finals? Or do they, you know,
quite frankly,
regress?
I have never really been a big fan of England and English football. But I think probably the last decade or so, they have changed a lot about their game and the culture around the game and the kind of talents that they are using now. You know, so you look at the Bukayo Saka and the Phil Fodens and the Jack Grealish, and these are what you call technicians of the game, you know. In midfield, they are well served with the Declan Rice and so on.
Is Declan Rice really good though? Like sometimes I wonder when
I think he's overrated. Quite frankly, yeah, I think he's overrated.
I really like a lot of Arsenal fans are not going to agree with me. I think like Saka is overrated.
Huh?
I don't think Saka is in the top 10 in his position in the world.
I've never really thought about it that way. But he's an exceptional talent. I'll give him that. I'm not because he plays for Arsenal.
He's a young player, exceptional talent. But for example, I think Rafinha is a better player. Vinicius Jr. I can just give 3 Brazilians alone that I think are better than him.
But why would you say that Rafinha is better than him though? I'm curious.
Huh?
What makes Rafinha a better player than Bukayo Saka?
Rafinha? No, Rafinha I think creates more. Wins more free kick, more accurate with his kicking. Saka is to me very good player, but and I'm an Arsenal person. I just feel like he's growing and he's going to get a whole lot better. Good prospect, but I just have Rafinha in terms of overall skill and ability above him. I have an older player like Zaha above him as well. I think Zaha is ahead of him. And this is just in England.
Zaha? Man.
Zaha, Wilfred Zaha is ahead of Saka, man.
No, man, you're not watching the game then, man. You're not looking at the numbers that them producing either then. Yeah. Remember, and what helps Saka, you know, is that Saka can play just about everywhere on the pitch, you know.
No, I'm talking about the present position that he plays in.
Yeah. I don't think Zaha is ahead of him. I don't think so. I don't buy that.
I'm right. I think Dembele He's ahead. So I can just go around and find player. I don't know. I just think like some of the English players, in my opinion, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
but you see, with the game gone past opinions now, where we can use prerequisites,
Okay.
statistics. We can use prerequisites.
So you believe that because
What
Zaha
what
stats,
are we judging on?
I will tell
Aesthetics,
you this.
whatever.
No, Zaha stats last season in terms of goal scores, scored and assists is better.
Fair enough.
All right. This season, Zaha has more goal and assists than him as well. If we go by the stats.
How many goals I have already?
All right. So I'm going to tell you Zaha stats. Let me give you that. So I'm going to give you that. But he's ahead of. I checked it, man. I checked them things here, but let me give you this season. Zaha, 13 matches, 6 goals, 2 assists. Last season he had 14 goals, 1 assist. The season before he had 11 goals, only played 30 games. So this season he has 6. So if you put Saka stat this season, and Zaha is not a lot of penalties, all right? I rate Saka as a young player, and I think he's right. He's up there. He's coming through this season. Yeah, he has played more games and he has 4 goals and 6 assists
in the Premier League.
Yeah, and 2 of those are penalties.
Okay.
So I'm saying that, yeah, he's a good player, but for me, I think there's a way that I don't think Rashford is ahead of him. I don't rate in that maybe down the middle, Rashford is better. But out on the wing, Rashford is not better than him. That I will give him. But down the middle, Rashford is. But the point I'm making is a bigger point. Are the English players overrated?
Most of them are. Generally speaking, they are. It's a lot of PR and publicity that gives them this false sense of who they really are and what qualities they genuinely have. That's my view on it.
I see a Manchester United fan saying that it hurts me to say it, but Saka is a big baller. Best thing out of England, man. There you go. I think he's a big baller, but I think he's overrated. Just like I think Jack Grealish is overrated.
Way overrated, man.
And Declan Rice, I think like Pickford as a goalkeeper is overrated. That's just me. I just don't know why. I just think like the better players in England don't get the ratings that they should. Like I think Harry Kane is a quality player.
Harry Kane?
Yeah, I think Harry Kane can make any of the top teams in the world right now.
Well, probably. But I think if you look at Harry Kane's record in international football, most of his stats is just because of the penalty them him getting and the fool and when him play against the little Maltas and Gibraltars and them thing there. When him play against the big teams in the Netherlands and the Germans, him not as potent. Yeah. So again, the argument could be there to say he's easily overrated too. One thing for sure in England is he's untouchable. You can't touch them property there. You get sanctioned to touch them.
Yeah. You get sanctioned. What? Really? Hello, coach.
Yeah, man, I'm here.
Oh. Yeah? All right. I see somebody say Harry Maguire no good. Well, I will tell you this, Harry Maguire, they say Harry Maguire always play good. Say that he always plays good for England. But so you don't expect England to go far then, given what you're saying?
No, man, I want round. I just them go home after this round of 16, man.
And they could meet Senegal in the round of 16,
Yeah, man. So
if they do final.
Yeah, man, them sealing at the quarterfinal if them can't get this. So.
Okay. What about Belgium? Because many people are saying that Belgium defense is very old with Vertonghen Yes. And they don't really. They have players like Munier and Eden Hazard and Lukaku as well. So many people are saying that the golden generation has become the olden generation. What are your thoughts?
Say that again. Sorry.
They say the olden generation has been the golden generation of Germany. That's what they are called. They are calling them now the olden generation.
Of Belgium.
Yeah, the olden generation. Listen, if you call soccer name Cranky, is going to come on, you know. This is the next Arsenal buddy. So he's all people. He's only on because they call soccer name, right? He's not going to talk about the World Cup game.
That's not true, man. I don't want to beat up the kid. The kid is young and talented, but he's overrated.
He's overrated. You believe he's overrated?
But you got to be careful with that word, you know. You're overrated based on how you're viewed. Not necessarily that very talented and maybe go on to be a world beater. But where he is in his development and his production doesn't reflect the narrative in terms of how he's viewed. If you listen to any person, whether it's Talk Sports, whether it's Sky Sports, whatever those are, there's a unanimous view that he is one of the most talented teenagers in the world and that he affects game materially a lot. I'm gonna give you an example. After the last 7 games we played last year, when we needed somebody to differentiate themselves and to really bring us along, where was Saka? In fact, if you look at Saka's goals last year, most of his goals were bunched up between, say, the 15th game and the 20th game. We scored about 7 or 12 goals. In the last 7 games and the first 10 or 8 games, it wasn't the case. And if you look at how his game is and how he materializes,
hold on, I think
about when you watch him play. He doesn't go down the line, you know. He only goes inside or goes back.
Hold on, Cranky. I think
he doesn't have a shot.
Coach Andrew was going to say something. You're freezing. You know, you're freezing up. So I think.
Well, it doesn't look like I'm freezing to me. I look okay to me. So.
All right.
It's freezing up on this side.
Yeah. Go ahead, okay. Coach Andrew. You're going to say something.
No, I was just listening to what Kronk is saying and just thinking out, you know, that. Listen, and somebody wrote it in the chat as well, XYZ Thompson.
Yeah.
How we judge the football is based on how we think the game should be played, right? And we all have different values to the game and stuff like that. So let us move away from soccer for a second. And you think about a player like Granit Xhaka. He's probably not seen as a very talented player, but he has been a mainstay for every single team that he has played on since under 17. So what is it about this player that is, quote unquote, not so talented that makes him so dependable and reliable for every single coach that he has played for? All right? And I think the more we broaden our understanding of the game and how the top tacticians see the game and what they are looking for in the game, I think the better we'll be able to appreciate. So I saw somebody make a comment about Wilfred Zaha being a top player. If he was such a top player, he would not be at Crystal Palace. That's a fact. He would be playing for, at the very minimum, Atletico Madrid in Spain. Or he would have played for Borussia Dortmund in Germany. Or he would be playing for one of the top 6 teams in England. Right? So I don't know how you rate him as a top player. I'm not saying he's not, because all of us are stating our opinion. But what I would tell you though is that I would take Saka over Zaha any day to play for any team I'm coaching.
So I'll say this, which is so Zaha divides opinion, right? So obviously everyone knows Zaha went to came back to Crystal Palace. We wanted to buy him when we buy Pepe. Emery wanted him. Mr. Top wanted Pepe. I think we made a wrong decision when we bought Pepe. He's making 130 at Crystal Palace, which is a lot of money. Crystal Palace wanted £80 million for him, which is a lot of money. So his price tag deferred people from pursuing him. He also has what they deem to be an attitude problem, and he's playing when he wants to. So it's not that he's not a very good player. And in fact, he get the same ratings as maybe a Grealish gets. But Grealish is a different person. But Grealish is showing you at Man City that he's not as good as people thought he was, frankly. If you're at Man City, you can't score a lot of goals, I'm not sure how good you are. That's a fact. And look at everybody like Sterling who play for Man City, Foden, even all those players who play for Man City, who are good players, seem to score a lot of goals. He's going to get chances. Grealish is not demonstrating that. So I rate Zaha, frankly. I thought we should have bought him. My point on Saka is this, is that look, the kid started at a left back, then went to left wing back. Now he's at right wing. He's only 21 years old. He's a baby still, but he's not a baby in Premier Football. In fact, he's a mature veteran, frankly, if you're in your 40th year. But the average lifespan there is less than 10 years. So he's almost halfway to the lifespan of a Premier League player. So I do think, though, that he's still young, have a lot of time, but he has a lot of deficiencies in his game. He can't shoot. He has no right foot. He doesn't beat a man down the wing. I think he's probably more of a 10, frankly, the way he plays and the way he holds the ball up, than being a winger, the way he plays. But that's just me. I don't know much about football. That's just me. That's the way I see. But that kid is not very good. When coach says, he can play the wing back, if you look at Arsenal team and who goes back and defend, does much more than Saka does. Saka reminds me of Bale. Bale used to play left wing, but you never know well played left back when he started out. The defenders, when they start out in those positions, but don't defend us well, frankly, when they move forward. They're not the same player. Unlike a Martinelli who runs all day, defends vigorously, Saka doesn't really do that as much.
Yeah, what I agree with Coach Andrew is that given what I'm seeing at Arsenal and how Arteta wants to play, I am picking Saka every day over Zaha. So I think sometimes even system kind of dictates who gets picked. But let me just say, I have to apologize. Owen Green, right? You were blocked accidentally. There was some spam in it, and in blocking the spam person, Owen Green. So please forgive us for doing that. But given what I'm seeing...
One last part, man.
Yeah.
The team you play for also determines how well you may be perceived. Let me say that again. If you can be a stand-up player for a poor team, more than likely, not all the time, because Grealish is showing the opposite, because he was stand up for Villa, more than likely you do well in a better team, right? Saka has been playing in a team now which is doing really well. Even when we weren't doing that well, he was doing okay. And to Andrew's point on Xhaka, because I talked to a lot of my friends in England, the problem people have with Xhaka is lack of mobility, his lack of ability to go by players, and he wasn't scoring then. Now, what it does show you, as I mentioned this before, is this, which is when you put a player in a different position, because coaches are set in their ways of operating. Joe Linton was a forward. We just talk about his name being in a different position, right? So when you put players in position, which maybe Xhaka in a different position, Xhaka now plays a box-to-box midfielder. He a part of a back two in the pivot versus one with Partey. And we also had Joey Linton playing a different position. We've had like three of Iwobi playing a different position. Iwobi, Joey Linton, and Xhaka are three players to give you an idea, which is coaches who they're so built in their thinking. Because most of these changes work because, unlike Xhaka, and because the coach made the decision of circumstances forced them to do it, and they're like, oh, this player could work in this position. Both Joey Linton and Iwobi was because they went up to 10 players, brought them back and forward to play midfield, and they showed that they had midfield capabilities. So all these coaches who are genius, because they think people who watch football don't know football, because they're the only ones who know it, that's not always the case. Sometimes the fans spend their life, watching football, learning football. Does have insight into how football really works and what works.
Hey, Martins.
Yes, coach. Go ahead.
I don't want us to get too off tangent with the Premier League talk as a World Cup we are dealing with.
Right? We're gonna get back to that because we're talking about English team.
Just to say, as a parting chat from me, I don't know if Cranky want to come back and have a parting chat as well. But one of the advantages that Saka has over almost all those names that you mentioned at the top, man, is his age and his potential. Most of those players that you are talking about, they have already reached their ceiling. And
that's a very good point. Yeah.
And Saka is basically brushing their ceiling right now. Yeah. So it means that his potential to surpass them is huge. So that's my part in shot, and
Yeah, that's
I
a
say
good
no
point
more about the
because
Premier League.
yeah, that's a good point because at Saka's age, you probably have to look back where Zaha was at this age. But that's a good point. But Cranky, I mean, we have been talking about the World Cup and the game, so we were just talking about what the expectations are for England, and this is because honestly, so many of us watch English football, but not many of us support the England team. It's a very strange because it is the most watched of all the leagues, possibly in the Caribbean or in Jamaica, and probably, I mean, I don't know in the States because the States is so wide and varied, but I suspect that more people probably watch the English league in the States than any of the other leagues across the world. But
there's only one league in world football. There's only one league in world football. That's going to sound very arrogant and but it's true. I mean, we had an Italian league in the 80s and 90s were dominant. They were the only league in football. We always just watch English league. So we're forced to in Jamaica, but they're playing long ball football. In today's football, the English league dominate. That's why they make most of the money. They're dominant worldwide. This is not just, tier 1 and tier 2. There's like tier 1 and tier 4, 5, and 6. Dominant money-wise. Look at all this spending in Europe.
Well,
look at all the spending in Europe versus the Premier League. It's not even close.
So how come you don't have them to do well in the World Cup?
But your league doesn't money's man. That's like only your players play in the league. Look at the English league. It's full of foreigners.
Yeah.
Full of Europeans, Africans, Americans. It's full of people from all over the world. It's a world league. I keep telling my friends in England, don't get carried away with your league because it's not your league. If all those players who are foreigners move out, anybody gonna watch your football.
Okay, I see. Coach Andrew,
it's a world league. It's not in English. English Premier League is just the name of it, and it's in their country, but it's not there.
Let me ask you. So, Coach Edward, now, who you think is there one team that you think, you know what? If there's a surprise in terms of who makes a semifinal, it could be this team.
The semifinals.
Or like if all your picks don't go the way they're supposed to, and this is a question for you, Cranky. Which team you think could, they call them dark horse, or I don't know if you want to use that term, but a team that if luck goes their way, they could be the Ghana that met Uruguay, or they could be a team that they have been there, like a Netherlands, who everybody keep on saying that they always have played good football, never yet. Like our Croatia, a lot of people did not expect Croatia to get to the finals of the World Cup against France when they did.
That's true.
Right? Is there a team like that we are not paying attention to, but they could have a run that they end up doing like what Croatia did?
It's a good question. The first stop would have to be the groups and see who, in terms of the teams that we're looking at here, if a Senegal, for example, gets past England in the round of 16, which based on my prediction, then they could potentially be that team we're talking about. The problem is that the loss of Sadio Mane, I don't know how that will be really, how that will affect their team. The other team that I would say we're probably not expecting a lot from that could do well is the Netherlands. They do have depth and quality all over the park. And if you remember that they were Nations League finalists, 2 years ago? Yeah.
Yeah.
So they could be, quote unquote, that dark horse team. And then, with all due respects to Portugal, they have not really lit up a World Cup since Eusebio. So them making a run like that could be considered.
Oh, that is true. That's a good point. Yeah.
Them making a run like that could be considered in similar light.
So I don't consider other those to be dark horse teams. They are prominent countries who have done well at previous World Cups. So
really?
Here's my dark horse. Here's all of them. Portugal has won the Euro 4 years ago? Won the Euro.
Yeah. We don't.
They won that. So
But
They
what
have
about the World Cup?
Silvas and the Ronaldos. They have a bunch of players. Diaz.
At the World Cup though, when last of Portugal done with.
But I'm saying, when we say dark horse, I'm thinking about a team which you look at the quality of the players.
Okay.
And then that informs whether or not they're the dark horse teams. I give you one team. Denmark, for example. Maybe a dark horse team. They beat France home and away in the Nations Cup.
Yeah.
And there was a full France squad. So they may be a team that's dark horse, right? There's not too many of the prominent teams who I deem to be dark horse. Like the Netherlands haven't done well. They didn't make the last World Cup. There are a bunch of players who play in the top leagues. But I think Denmark may be a team that no one thinks about that plays very, very what I call thoughtful football.
Yeah.
Very organized, well set up.
Yeah. Well, sorry. Some people are saying Uruguay because they have Valverde and what's the name of that other midfielder?
They have Darwin Núñez, they have Valverde, they have the kid from Tottenham, Bentancur.
Yeah. And
they have
Lucas Torreira.
Well, I don't know about Lucas Torreira, man.
Cavani. Suarez.
No, they have a good team. Yeah. And Suarez is a little bit older, but we agree. They have a bunch of players with names or players who are playing at the top of their leagues. But their defense is weak. I don't think their defense is strong enough.
Isn't Godin can't.
Like I said, when you're 40 years old or 50 years old, come on, man.
If Godin is at the World Cup, that means he's above 14, man.
No, I don't understand. But why you don't say that about Thiago Silva?
Huh?
Because he plays like he's 21.
I don't understand. Because Thiago
when
Silva,
Atletico Madrid get rid of you, when Atletico get rid of management, when Atletico Madrid get rid of you, that means your days are past you. They really key players.
Like Coach Andrew still you have to be on the ball, So let me just say this to you. Contrary to what Coach Andy Edwards said, Kane has 51 goals for England. Goals versus so-called minutes is about 16.
So let me say this. So Kane has not had a good tournament for England. Even when he won the Golden Boots at the World Cup, where we lost to Croatia, he hasn't had a good work. I tell my friends in England this, because they tell me about all his goal scoring. When he has a good World Cup or good Euro, he hasn't. He scored goals, but some of them are meaningless goals. He doesn't produce in the semi-final, doesn't produce in the final.
Yeah, but for England, though, he has 51 goals, and only 16 of those are against what they call the minnows. So he does score against the big team.
Man, we're talking about tournament football, We're not talking about other stuff. We're talking about when you reach a quarterfinals, semi-final, finals, where are you? You score 7 goals in the last World Cup. How much of those were meaningful goals? You miss a sit against Croatia, which cost the team the game. He's a brilliant player, don't get me wrong. Not because he's a Tottenham and I'm not a Tottenham fan, back to the contrary. But as I tell my friends in England who keep telling me about Kane, which is he's a brilliant player, but you have to produce, just like Neymar, you got to produce when it counts.
Yeah.
And Neymar can be forgiven for 2014 and 2018 when he was sort of injured, but it's also his World Cup.
So, Coach Edwards, your dark horse is Netherlands, you said. Cranky, you're saying Denmark?
Yeah, if a dark horse to be picked, it has to be Denmark for me.
I'm going to pick Switzerland.
Also a very organized team.
More variety. That's fine.
I think Special Edition is picking the USA as his dark horse.
They're going to have it hard to get out of their group. I picked them to get out of the group, but, Iran is decent, right? And Wales is decent. They have a lot of players who play at the highest level, so it's going to be tough.
And Fresh
that group's going to be tougher than people think, yeah.
Fresh God is picking Canada as his dark horse. They're also in a tough group as well.
Is an interesting pick. I don't even have them coming out of the group, but we'll see.
Is it that the CONCACAF teams are not good, or they are just in bad zone? Like, I don't want to say bad zones, but they are in zones that don't favor them. Like, maybe if they're in other zones, they would stand a chance of coming out. But
I think Mexico is in a pretty good group. I think Mexico will come out of that group. Mexico and USA, to me, are in comfortable groups. If they can't come out of the groups, then it's not saying much for the region at all. Yeah. I think Canada is the most complex group,
Yeah.
I think all the CONCACAF teams, except for the US, except for Mexico, is focused on 2026. And this is the template to test yourself for the next. You want to go as far as possible, but I think the USA is a very young team.
I think Canada can beat Belgium, Because that Belgium team is too old, Cranky.
Depends on which Belgium turn up. I don't think they can beat Belgium.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Now, Belgium have all their players. Belgium have a lot of players, you know. Not because you don't see them all in the Premier League. They have a lot of players.
Okay.
Kevin De Bruyne and Tillemans and Lukaku, them are too much for them.
Yeah. And if Hazard turn up, half of Hazard turn up, or 25% half of Hazard turn up. Them have good players.
Duklan is saying that what you were saying about Harry Kane, you can also say about Messi. That in big competition, he doesn't turn up to score goals in finals and semifinals for Argentina.
One could say that, yes. One could say that. Yes. But it's hard for those superstars, you know, because they get a lot of attention in those tournaments. Think about the last number tournament. If any superstars, huh?
I don't want to take on the Messi thing because the Messi fans are. Go ahead.
But it's not disputable, Mannings, man. This is what? His fifth World Cup? Is this his fifth World Cup?
Yeah.
And he went to the finals in Brazil. No, yeah, he played the finals in Brazil, but he hasn't been the differentiator in those World Cups. You can't say a World Cup and say Mannix Bessie was dominant in that World Cup, even when he was younger. So now he's older, we expect him to be dominant. It's gonna be hard.
It must not under me. Wixel, I don't know. I mean, Wixel is just here or there. All right, but I don't know. I mean, somebody's also saying that Serbia is being slept on.
The Balkan countries, whether it's Serbia or Croatia, they're hard to figure out. They turn up tournament time, but they're hard to figure out.
That's what Jamie Ricketts is saying. Kylian Mbappe is the best player in the world presently. Should it be up on his shoulders if his team/country doesn't win it all? Is he the best player in the world?
Like 5.
Is he the best player in the world right now?
Who is the best player in the world? I mean, that question has been asked by a number of people, right?
Yeah.
I don't know who the best player is. Ballon d'Or says Benzema. He's not there.
Who?
Look, you can make a case for Haaland, you can make a case for De Bruyne, you can make a case for Mbappe, you can make a case for a number of players.
Yeah. So, Coach Andrew, which player you think is going to be, this player, his stocks, are a couple of players who you think their stocks could rise at the end of this World Cup because they're going to have outstanding performances? I think Arsenal should go ahead and buy this Ecuadorian midfielder as an alternative to Thomas Partey from Brighton.
Cannot afford him.
It cannot be more than
Casado is quoted 70, 80 million for Casado. We can't pay that for him.
Can't be that expensive. Since when? The man was under 50 million a few weeks ago. So when did he gone over that? How did he?
Because you guys are listening to watching those old score and all those things, and I listen to Brighton president when they're talking about what their player are. Just like Murdick from the kid from Ukraine, who people are saying 30, 40 million, and they're saying it should cost more than Anthony. I mean,
yeah. So, Andy, which player is that? I see Jarvis Paris saying Jude Bellingham. Which player you think? Some people saying Musiala from who you think is going to be that player?
Them stocks going rise after the World Cup.
Yeah, a couple of them. Yeah.
Wow. I like the Spanish duo. Gavi and
Pedri. All
right. I think those two, their stocks will rise, even though it's hard to see them going anywhere other than where they are already. Yeah. Depending on, I don't know if you see, because I guess if England gets to the quarterfinal, I think somebody like a Jude Bellingham could see him stocks rising. Yeah. Possibly Saka as well. Well, I would have to give this a little more thought and get back to you when the next time we talk.
All right, then we're going to do that. Let me tell you what I think. I think one of the reasons that Saka has not signed for Arsenal is that he has set himself to be brilliant at this World Cup. So he's going to demand more. I just feel like he's going to have an exceptional World Cup.
I'm wanting to agree with you on that.
I just feel like that is why he kind of delayed signing this contract. Right? He's one. I think like Joe Felix wants to leave Atletico Madrid. I don't know how he's going to play in the Portugal team if he's going to start.
Who's Joe Felix? Who's Joe Felix? You mean Yao Felix?
Yao Felix. Oh, jeez, peace, Frankie. Come on.
You said Joe. I don't know who.
Right? So he's one. I think this guy called Cody Gakpo, who
for the Netherlands.
Yeah, I think he's the next one to look out for. I think Musiala. I think the Englishman playing for Germany.
Yeah.
He's the next player that I think is going to be exceptional. Yeah. So that yeah.
Why do you call Musiala Englishman?
Isn't he? Isn't he
German?
German. He's English German.
I think he's German, English German.
All right. Yeah. So those are some of the names that I have out there. Jamie is saying that the Japanese player Takifusa Kuba is a sure one to watch. The Japanese, yeah.
All the names both you and Price mentioned are good names. I think all the names you have mentioned are names which we would expect to do well. If are we guaranteed that Saka is going to get a start?
I don't see him not playing in all the games. That's the thing.
No, he's going to play, but will he start? I mean, his start is not guaranteed. You're talking about Sterling, who is always a showing, even though he's not on form. You're talking about Foden. Those two, to me, seem like more starters if Foden doesn't play the 10.
Yeah. And then what about oh geez. The Americans, like you have Tyler Adams, you have Musa in midfield, McKinney, those players. I mean, listen, America has a very good midfield, you know. Reina, Gio Reyna, Musa, McKinney, Tyler Adams, those four players. Where listen, these guys have a good group of players, and I think like we're not. I think because they didn't look so strong in CONCACAF, we just dismiss them. And I'm wondering.
But when you say good, by what standard are you measuring?
But Tyler Adams is playing well in the Premier League. He's playing well. He is doing well in the Premier League. Aronson is doing well in the Premier League as well.
The problem is that the defense is poor. The U.S. defense, especially the center defense, is not that good. And they also you just mentioned all kids, whether it's Weah, Musa, Reina, McKinney, Adams, probably all 25 years or less.
Where is a striker, you know?
Huh?
I said, where is a striker?
No, I know. I'm just talking about the kids they have, whether Aronson or Weah, all those kids are young, play midfield or in the forward line. They're all young kids. And all getting exposure at the highest level, but you wouldn't call them world beaters. Right? And the problem you have, man, is the center of the defense is not well rated. So, Destin Robinson are good players, but they also are challenged defensively.
But the American players and the American technical people, you know, will tell you, that this group of players are being prepared to challenge for the World Cup title in 2026, you know.
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's their mission, you know. It is stated on their website. If you go there, you'll see it, you know. Yeah. So it's not like they are just doing this for the sake of doing it. It's a deliberate strategy, a 12-year plan, actually.
Yeah, something that we need to put in place, man. Don't stop me up.
You'll talk to Coach Andre Edwards.
Even though Qatar's 12-year strategy hasn't worked based on today's performance. Because there's a 12-year strategy, hasn't really worked. But that's a different story. I don't think they have the football exposure as other countries like us do.
As a Coach Andre Edwards is high up the food chain than man in this one. So this is what we need to talk. But also, what about Yuri Tillemans? Will he he's going to be on basically a free agent by the summer. All right. Now, could he perform? Like in the NBA, they say people are playing for contract. Could he use this World Cup to play for a contract?
Of course. Why not?
Yeah, I think he will. But the problem I have with Tielemans is I watch him a lot, given that we're supposed to be pursuing him. He scores spectacular goals. When you watch him for an entire game or a series of games, he's hit or miss. There's not a consistent 7 out of 10 performance. You may get an 8, you may get a 5, you may get a 4. Think about when we play them for the last 2 or 3 games. You watch him all game, because I watch quite a bit of Leicester games, and he's hit or miss. He's not as consistent as you want a player to be, especially playing for the top teams. But he's a very good player.
Yeah. I think one of the players who have a lot to prove, though, is Darwin Núñez, because he has gotten some grief about his touch and his play for Liverpool. And so, I think he has something to prove. I also believe with what is going on with Cristiano Ronaldo at Manchester, you don't want Portugal to not get at least to the semi-final with Ronaldo there. It would just, I think, affect his legacy, given everything, because already Manchester United fans have turned on him. Right? So I just
step back to Darwin Núñez a minute, because
go ahead.
Before you mention his name, when we're talking about players whose stocks could rise in the World Cup, he was one of them that came to mind. And at the youth level, he has been what you'd call an elite performer at the World Cup for Uruguay, right? In fact, when he played the Under-20 World Cup, himself and Erling Haaland were literally slugging it out for the Golden Boot, which Haaland eventually won. So he could be one of those players who forces the transition, so to speak, meaning that he sees this as a natural progression for him to show that his stocks are good on the world stage.
Yeah, but yeah. Well, I think it's just to get some Liverpool fans off his back. I think that is it. So the next player that I think, I want him to get an opportunity because I believe in this player. Though I'm not. It's Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Seriously?
I want him to play in this World Cup in the back three system that England uses. I think if he plays in that system and he plays on that right-hand side for England, in a back three, England goes far in this tournament.
Man can't defend himself, and you want to go play defense for England.
Yeah, but his back three.
Man can't defend himself. Man can't defend himself. You're gonna play right back or wing back for England. Really?
Man is man.
Trenton.
Yeah. Man is man. Not just because we're Arsenal people here, but it would be ludicrous to see Trent playing right now over Ben White. Ludicrous.
Well,
it's treacherous.
Yeah, Southgate has his preference, right? So we won't know until he makes a decision. But to me, Trent is not a good defender. He's never been a good defender. He's been lucky because Liverpool has been so dominant with the ball and off the ball pressing, camouflage his weakness. It's now being shown up because they're not playing as well as they used to. But I do believe that, as Andrew's saying, that Ben White deserves to play, but will he play him? In fact, if you play Ben White today, you play another right back / center half, which helps you with set plays, which helps you quite a bit. Height, set plays, he can play with the ball at his feet, and he can also defend really well. So why would you go to a back four and play him and Trippier on both sides? In England, they're talking about playing a 5. They expect Southgate to play a 5. But I think a forward Walker, with Ben White and Trippier on both sides, and Stone. I don't know who the left-sided centre back is.
Maguire.
No. Lego the Harry.
Well, I think what people are hoping for is that Kyle Walker comes back. So then Kyle Walker plays on the right? And then you have Stone and maybe somebody else. But I mean, right now, It may be Maguire.
Maguire started. I don't know where it's a guy maybe Maguire when he started. What do you think? I guess says Cavani go hold the bench for Darwin because I think Suarez is going to be starting. Right.
So one thing before I go on Darwin News has 5 goals in 10 games. That's 1 and 2. So even though he missed chances, he's one of those center forwards who have all the attributes except maybe his first touch to do really well. He's quick, he's powerful, he's good in the air, he's physical, he can shoot with both feet. So why people don't rate him and Liverpool fans don't rate him? I don't know why.
Well, two persons agree with me, Blue Mountains and Mannings, I agree with you. Trent start, England will have a good World Cup. Again says, listen, I'm starting Trent. You have Rice and 3 as a centre back. Why not start him? I just think that kind of system is ideal for Trent because he doesn't have to focus on.
Mannings man.
Yes.
Last game I see Liverpool play a back 3 and Trent was playing right wing back, and Trent lacks awareness, Mannings man. Not because you're playing back 3, that means you're playing on the right, you shouldn't defend. He lacks defensive awareness. We all agree nobody can ping a ball like him, but you got to play the other way too. You can't just play going one way.
When you're playing a back 3, right? Mm-hmm. The right wing back, what percentage in terms of defensive responsibility he has when you're playing a back 3? If you could measure it in terms of percentage. Because I'm asking that because I'm believing that system is more geared, our 3-4-3 is more geared to that wide right wing back player doing more on the offensive side of the game than the defensive side.
That is correct. So that is why you have the difference in terminology about wing back and fullbacks, right? However, the percentage of defensive work is not theoretical enough, right? So you're playing against Team A, you probably asked to defend for 85% of the game, even though you're playing as a wing back, right? And remember, teams do play wing backs to counter opposition teams that overload their wide channels. So it's not something that is cast in stone and just theoretical. It comes down to a lot of different variables. At the end of the day, my own way of looking at the game, I want wing backs stroke fullbacks who can defend and who can offer a lot in attack. And quite frankly, Trent Alexander-Arnold, for all his attacking capabilities, don't fit the mold of a defender for me. So, all right. So whether you're playing 3 or 4, whether you're playing 3 or 4 at the back, him don't belong on the field for me.
He wants to start correctly.
Mannings man, that the coach said is based on facts and circumstances. So a lot of times people play 3 at the back, to me, is because they're not comfortable with their team, the ability to play 4 at the back defensively. So they compensate. Or they may have players with certain attributes which allow them to do so, who they want to get on the field, and who they believe will allow them to be both doing well going forward and being able to defend.
Yeah.
But it takes away from because think about it. If they play 3 at the back, there's no place for Maddison. There's probably no place for Mount. 2 players who are very good offensively, but if you play 3 at the back, then those players probably don't have a place in the team with the current composition. So you're sacrificing something either way you go.
Yeah. So Stan, you agree with me that Trent should be converted to a midfielder?
I think Trent should sit right beside coach on the bench. He should be. I love Trent going forward. I start realizing Trent doesn't play good defense. They played Napoli about 3 years ago in the Champions League. And I watch him running around like a kid don't understand, just all over the place. And I'm like, well, no, this doesn't make any sense to me. I start watching him well after that and realize he lacks defensive awareness. He just does.
Yeah. All right. The final question for the day is, say Messi doesn't win this World Cup, Ronaldo, does it affect their status? Or if one should win it, does it cement them as being the best in this present generation?
I would never use tournament football as the criteria to judge a player based on a body of work. Tournament football is different. Where's the sustained performance and body of work to judge versus playing 4 or 5 games in a tournament? When luck may not. Think about France, for example, losing a bunch of their players, falling like dominoes. That affects the individual and how they can perform. So, also, what's the composition of my team that I have now versus what I played previously, and who I played with? So, I wouldn't think so. I think their legacy is cemented. Everyone said they're the 2 best. People have different view on who's the best. Is it Pele? Is it Maradona? Is it Ronaldinho? Is it right? Is it CR7? Is it Messi? Could be. There are a bunch of players. Players are best in their generation. Comparing across generations to me doesn't even make sense. Doesn't make any sense.
All right. What say?
When Maradona played football and Pele played football, this is when Agla used to play football, right? Where the ball passes and the man doesn't pass. Now, if you blow on somebody, they blow you for a foul. It's a different football. You can't compare generation. If you did that way, then Maradona should be the best because Maradona was dominant when people were breaking people's leg playing football. So, or maybe Pele for that matter.
Yeah. What say you, Coach Edward?
All right. So, to me, anybody who claims the title of being the world's best or the greatest of all times have to be a champion in that particular event. So you look at boxing, right? Muhammad Ali did his thing because he became the world champion. You come to track and field, Usain Bolt, and we could go on and on. Michael Jordan in basketball and so on and so on. So for me, if either Messi or Ronaldo should win the World Cup, they could have claim to that right. Outside of that, they have no right of passage to claim that.
They have to, if it's a world best, you have to win the World Cup.
If you have not won the World Cup, you can't claim to be the world's best ever. Make no sense.
But so like
I would agree with that sentiment. You know why? Think about it this way, for example. If you're George Best, or if you're Ryan Giggs and you were deemed to be great, but your team never get to the World Cup, you wouldn't have a chance to win it. Now, one could say, we should bring your team there. But as you heard, what's his name said the other day, from the Nets, you want me to go to play out with a bunch of people who can't play?
Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant. You want me to take these people?
Listen, gentlemen. Football is by nature football. You can't... We're only arguing opinions, right? However, my position on this is that to be claimed the world best, you have to win the world's biggest prize. It's as simple as that. You can't call yourself world's best if you have never won it. And if your team has not qualified to get to the World Cup,
what I should say though is that if you have the chance to win it, because some people don't get the chance. Like
but if you don't get the chance, you can't. If you don't get the chance, that's no fault of the system. That's a fault of your born or whatever.
Wait. Back up. So let's say Pele was Jamaican. No. Go with that logic.
Listen,
let's say Pele was Jamaican.
Is the nature of the sport? Yeah. The nature of the sport is that it is a team sport. It's a team sport. If you play for Jamaica, you may never ever be the world's greatest player, no matter how talented you are. Right?
That's not true though, because if you think about Weah, for example, who's from Liberia, or York, who's from Trinidad, who are very good players, could at some point elevate themselves to be that way. They wouldn't have gotten to the World Cup to get a chance to be the world best.
So that is what he's saying. He's saying that they can't be the world best.
But that's not true, because one time Weah won the Ballon d'Or. He was the world best at that point. And if he had a sustained career...
World best club player.
No. Like I said before, tournament football doesn't
I am not trying to convince anybody, So whoever have a different view, I respect that. I'm sharing my view, which is what I was asked to share. I can't share nobody else's view.
Yes, good. Okay. You're right.
All right.
Right. This is someone at KC. There's a KC spirit flowing.
No. It's not a KC spirit. We're dealing with logic. I'm a very logical person. And it's right, it's opinion, right? So I've heard that before from people, especially in basketball, like Charles Barkley has won a championship. So how can we read it a certain way? But the individual sometimes, this team sport are more difficult than individual sport. Now, basketball only have 5 players. It's easier than having 11 players versus track and field, which is only an individual sport, boxing individual sport. It's different.
I think the argument, the argument, and I understand, coach, his opinion, but where the argument would become solid is if you say, listen, all of these players had an opportunity to win this, and by their own performances, they weren't able to take their teams over the edge. For example, somebody could say the reason why is because Messi got to a finals. You did enough to get to the finals, you couldn't bring a team over there. So when I put Maradona in the finals, he won it. I put Pele in the finals, he won it. Right? Cristiano Ronaldo, you got knocked out. By who? Right? You couldn't bring it in. So maybe somebody could look at that. I don't agree with that still, but that is the only way to admit, if you could look at it that way and to say, because like a George Weah, there are some players, because of where they are born, not the system fault, they're probably not going to play in the World Cup. Or when they get to the World Cup, they are probably 36. They have reached their peak and they are declining. So you get to the World Cup.
Man is man. Flip the argument. Flip the argument. Suppose you're a very good player, you win the World Cup, but you never win a club championship. Does that make you the world best player?
Yeah, you have to ask, coach. Coach, what about that one?
Say that again.
So what Cranky is saying is that suppose a player wins 2 World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Say he wins one at 20, and then his team comes back and win at 28.
Mm-hmm.
But he has never won a club, like he never won anything for his club. Right? Good player, never won anything for a club, never won Champions League or Europe. Is he still, when you look at that, you'd say that he is one of the world's best?
No.
Or is he the world's best? Because he has won 2 World Cups.
So we have to be careful and we have to be very consistent with the criteria that we use to determine who is world's best and who is not world's best. All right. Now, whether you have a lot of people who have won the World Cup who are what you would call average talents. All right. So
they're just unlike a good team. I understand what you mean. Some players just end up on good.
They're part of a good team. Now we're talking about a few elite talents. Your Zinedine Zidane, your Ronaldinho, your Ronaldo, your Cristiano Ronaldo, your Lionel Messi, your Pele, your Maradona, etc. Those players are not in the same category as everybody else who win everything. So let us not be flippant about the thing. Right? Now, if you are going to tell me that somebody is the world's greatest player ever, and again, may I repeat it for those persons who have a difficulty understanding differences of opinion. This is my position. You cannot claim to be the world's greatest ever if you never win the World Cup. That's my position. Full stop.
Coach, you can't follow the comment section, comment section.
No, I'm not talking about people making the comments. I am making my point because you see, every time I listen to and I participate in sports discussions, I recognize that there are persons who they don't appreciate that there are persons capable of having a different position from themselves. Yeah. So I'm just making it abundantly clear from that perspective. But I have every respect for everybody's difference of opinion. That's fine. Yeah. All right. We have a call online, and then we're going to do that, give you a chance to respond to the call, and then we're going to close out. And because we have a game tomorrow morning that we're going to talk, we're going to come back on for. So, caller, welcome to the show. Good. It's what now? Afternoon.
Yeah, man. My name's man. We just have a very quick question.
Yeah. Who is the question for?
Why is it that, just a general question, anybody can take it. Why is it that when it comes to certain team, it is being said that the player, let's say Argentina, right? It is being referred to as Messi wins the World Cup. But when it comes to other teams, maybe it's the dark horse or whatever you call them, it's the team that won the World Cup. But yet when there's a limited amount of teams that you say, it's a particular player won the World Cup, but yet when it comes to other teams, it's the team that won the World Cup. I'm saying this to say that the example we just used in terms of boxing and athletics, those are individual sports. Football is a football sport, you understand me? But the first question answer. Why the team? Why you pick out certain team, certain individuals from certain team? Because it's a team sport. So run that down for the brother now.
All right, all right, all right, all right. Thanks for the question. All right. All right, you get the question. Any one of you can take it.
Quite frankly, I wasn't hearing it clearly because it was choppy.
Oh.
Repeat the question, the man's man.
Oh, so he's asking, right? Why? Why? Right? When we mention in the dark horses, we are mentioning teams, but when it comes to certain other teams, we mentioning Messi.
Oh, players.
Players, we mentioned players, right? That's one question. The other question that he asked was, well, he was saying that we should not compare individual sports with football, basically, because they are individual sports.
Oh.
So when you were making the example,
yeah, but I did use basketball as well, and we could use other team sports. But I get the point that he's making. And again, you see, just as a person, as an individual, Andrew Edwards don't really have these kinds of conversations to win or to come out as the person who is right. Because one thing I've learned along my journey as a coach is that there's no wrong or right way to do things in the sport. Yeah. So you have Jose Mourinho, for example, who coached from a solid defensive foundation and him win the Champions League with 2 different teams, right? You have, or 3 different teams, and you have other people who coach from an attacking foundation and then win, and so on and so on. So I'm not trying to win the argument. I'm putting forward my position, and I respect other people's position. Now, we did in the conversation earlier talk about the individual quote unquote dark horse players who we expect their stocks to rise consequent to the World Cup. So in a sense, those would be your dark horses as players, so to speak. So when we talk about a Darwin Núñez or the Japanese guy, I don't remember the name, any other names were mentioned. To me, that fits that category there.
Yeah.
So can I say something about that whole thing about opinion and perspective? When you have an opinion, anything you do in life, whether it's business or sports, whatever it is, if you have a perspective, you want to make sure your perspective can be challenged and can stand up to scrutiny and can hold its own. So it doesn't mean that we have to all be aligned and monolithic in our thinking and have the same perspective. But when you have a perspective, it should be able to have a discourse where it's being challenged and you can defend your position in a way which is rational, makes a lot of sense, and can hold its own. That's the whole thing. So if I say my opinion is different from yours, that's fine, but can my perspective stand up to scrutiny and I can defend my position well?
Yeah. All right. Good discussion. So if Neymar, let me get this one. So if Neymar wins the World Cup, would he become the GOAT overnight?
Which goat? They have goat or Brazil? Well, curry goat?
So let me just say this to you people. I like what thanks for the super chat, Rogic Shop. I like what when we had on Shaka Hislop, he referenced Andre Pirlo, I think his name is.
Yeah.
That they had an interview on ESPN with Pirlo, and they were asking him about Messi and Ronaldo. And he said, I don't want to answer which one is better. When I see them, I think about artists and their work, their artwork. And he says, listen, when you see a piece of art, you don't compare it with the next piece of art. You admire it. You admire the piece of art for what the art is, right? And so he said that we have been able to live in a generation where we have seen 2 beautiful pieces of artwork. Instead of determining which one is better, why not just admire the beauty of the art?
But man is man, that is kind of trying to walk on the line though, yeah. Because if you go to an art show or art gallery to buy art,
Yeah.
and you see these two pieces of art, you're going to choose one over the other depending on your budget, unless you can afford to buy both pieces, you know. You're going to choose one or the other. And what determines which one you choose more?
It may just be personal preference.
But that's fine. That's fine. Nothing is wrong with that. Nothing at all is wrong with that, you know.
Yeah, it may be just personal preference. I don't know.
Exactly. So, but come on, do you think that those persons in the world who thinks that Cristiano Ronaldo is better than Messi and those who think that Messi is better than Cristiano Ronaldo is not from a position of personal preference for the most part?
Yeah, again, it is personal preference. I agree.
Of course it is.
Yeah. Yeah, but
the fact that we can't have a consensus tells you everything. So in my day, way back when, there was no dispute about Pele, you know. I don't remember too many disputes about Pele being best around his time. It was almost uniform and consensus that he was the best. Probably a bit less so for Maradona, but we have those two players who have done really well, and there's a debate. It's good for news outlets, it's good for fans, but as the coach is saying, it's a personal preference.
Yeah, and I really don't think in Maradona's time there was a player playing who was compared to Maradona though, and that's the thing. And I think
not really, but Maradona had so much challenges that he didn't have the same white shoe view as he did for Pele.
Yeah, I think
he's always getting into trouble or have some issues, but no, he was dominant in his time. I mean, as he showed at Napoli and went for Argentina.
Yeah. All right. So that's it. We have a game tomorrow. The first game is at 8. We're going to do a watch along discussion to it. It will be England versus Iran. Any predictions as we
go ahead with them games for tomorrow? Let me hear them again.
England versus Iran, and that game is going to be at 8 a.m. Then we have Senegal versus Netherlands at 11, and the USA versus Wales at 2. So for those of you who want, you can join us at 7:45. We'll be doing a watch along to the England versus Senegal game.
Yeah. For those of you who don't have day jobs, you can join Manning's Man.
England will win the game. I said 2-0.
Oh, somebody's saying that the game is at 5.
What game is at 5?
5?
Depends on where you are in the world.
No, Fresh got for the last time he saw.
Tuesday is when the 5 o'clock game starts, I think.
Yeah, it's Tuesday. I think it's 8. 8, 11.
Yeah, tomorrow is 3 games. As of Tuesday, it's 4 games.
4 games, yeah. So we are picking England versus Iran should be an explosive game, right? Explosive. Yeah, you're right.
No, Iran US should be explosive. I know what Iran is.
Yeah.
Is it a play on words? It must be a play on words. It must be an explosive game.
Of course it's a play on words.
That's a US situation. That's what England.
Yeah, but I'm hearing that Iran could surprise England, but I'm going to go with England. I don't know. I just think I'm going to go with England. If I'm a betting man, I would bet on England to win.
England 2-0, man. England 2-0.
What say you, Cranky?
Yeah, I expect England to win. I don't know what the score is going to be, but I expect England to win. And I expect Harry Kane to score. Even though I think he's not a good tournament player, but I expect him to win. I expect him to score. Yes, Iran is playing. I mean, Iran has played well throughout their qualification, and I think there's prediction they may surprise, but I'm not expecting a surprise against England tomorrow.
Okay.
Even though England was atrocious in the Nations League, but I expect them to do well tomorrow.
And you picking England as well, coach?
2-0. England 2-0.
Okay. All right. I am going 2-1 in favor I'm going to go England. Late goal to win it. Harry Kane scoring one of those that Tottenham has been scoring. You think it's all going to into a tie? And so
He talked about the far post.
yeah, and somehow something happens and they just get a goal. And you say to yourself, how did Iran allow that to happen? Like Leeds versus
No, you said to yourself, don't defenders realize he's a prolific goal scorer? Where's the defense? Why aren't you marking him? Why don't you have somebody shadowing him at all times? But he always seems to pop up with a goal someplace somehow.
Yeah. As Stefan Wright is saying, he thinks England will come out. So people, join us tomorrow at 7:45. For those of you who operate your own business, because I know all of you either work or you operate your own business. You could not be working or operate your own business in these times. So I'm suspecting if you're not going to the 9 to 5, you probably operate your own business and you can tune in. Unlike some of us who have 9 to 5s and we're not allowed to be on gadgets during the game. so I'm not going to be like...
I have one of my staff telling me he's going to bring a TV to work. I'm like, really? Where you going to watch it? Well, he's going to bring his iPad to work to watch the game on it. I'm like, what? That's lunchtime? But it's 8 o'clock game. I don't know where you're going to watch it.
Oh. Yeah, but if you're sitting in the office and you're doing books and stuff, you could have it on the TV going on.
No, the TV's out in the pantry, so the TV's not on your desk. we will be one lax tomorrow. You know, if he like he's Ecuadorian actually, so his team played today, so he shouldn't be stressed. They wanted that. Yeah.
Hey, Coach Edwards, really a pleasure having you on. I hope to have you on some more throughout the World Cup. And also, I see Pine Action calling. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports Action. We're closing in like 3 minutes. So if you have a question for Coach Edwards and Cranky, go ahead.
Bless up yourself, Coach Mr. Edwards.
Blessings.
Anjo, big man Anjo, where you going with?
How that?
No worry yourself, man. Miss Fat Garrel people, you know?
All right, my general, bless.
Definitely like this. All right, here what now. Listen to this. Stan, are you me call for big up, you know, because you see something where you just a little while, and that me hear some people are beat out them brains, and I've been saying this for radio, from social media to Jamaican people every day, you know, and people who are use World Cup, you know, brother, to match up, to try to diminish soccer and athletes' greatness, you know. I don't know how them to say, Carmelo Anthony are the greatest scorer in a basketball for USA, better than Michael Jordan, for USA, Team USA, International. How we not say Carmelo Anthony are the greatest basketball player, and we are use that versus him in NBA career. People to stop it. Big up yourself, Stan. Repeat it to me one more time. What you say?
No, we can't.
Tell them again, Stan. Tell them again, say we can't use one 4-year tournament every 4 years to say Messi is not the greatest player of his generation, or CR7 are the second or the third greatest player of his generation. We have to separate them World Cup career from what them do every day to eat them food and take care of them family. That's all.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's my view. There are people with other perspectives, which I respect, but that's my view. That's my view. I'm becoming a diplomat. That's my view. Tell
the little people them way, because them love Lionel Messi so much that them want to see him feel so them can continue beat them chest. And them a Lionel Messi fan, and if you stop it over there, so you don't know yourself about the elite, you don't stop it. Big up yourself, man. Big up yourself, Mr. Edwards. Me there go and take the show, me now watching. No World Cup game. If me see the highlights for me.
Why not watching the World Cup?
Not supporting what Qatar doing, all those people who die and all those blood.
No, me pull you up. Before you go, me pull you up. No, man, it's man. I want to say something. I do not like hypocrisy. Europe cannot have this morality about them, be on this moral high ground about themselves, have this moral compass, and they have been ones throughout history was coming to the more genocide, abuse, all these things that one can deem to be horrible things in life. Because now you're at a different point in history, doesn't wash out all you have done in your history. So my concern is this, is that we all at different points in history about our societies and how we operate. For you to have this this being so reprehensible or deems Qatar or Saudi Arabia about how they operate to be so horrible. If you're in glass house, don't throw stone. And I've said this to my friends. I just sent a link a while ago. If you're in glass house, don't throw stones. I don't hear Africa. I don't hear South America. I don't hear the Caribbean are all up in even US up in arms about Qatar and what's transpiring there. And we all agree they got the World Cup under questionable means. But you hear Platini come out and said that France was set up to get to the final with Brazil in the 1998 World Cup. Where is the outrage about this? Where's the outrage about not paying reparation? Huh?
Stan,
Yes.
I don't know whether right now. I present the thing winner right now.
No. That's like saying, you know what? Black people shouldn't be given affirmative action. No. Back up. Go ahead. Yes.
Over 3,000 African and Nepali poor people go over there so go die under them fake visa system and them thing there. Enjoy the World Cup. Me not watch none. Me go and talk.
No, but here's the point I'm making. I don't disagree with you, I think countries, but listen, my friend. Countries try to do better. But if you're going to be on a moral high ground, make sure it's not quicksand when you're standing up on where you have a moral high ground. I don't disagree that there are things in Qatar we ought to be concerned about. I don't think we should be concerned about those situations. But as someone said, why isn't Europe trying to help to alleviate some of the circumstances in all these countries? Here's my last point for people who want to be on the moral high ground. Looking at your own house first. Look in the mirror first. Look to your history first before you start saying we shouldn't have the World Cup in Qatar because the people are dying there. They treat people badly. People are treated badly in every part of the world. Tell me what country the World Cup is being held in that has a history which is so pure.
Me glad Jamaica never make it, and me hope it's the worst viewed World Cup because them NBA play. Have a nice day. Big up on yourself. Me love you,
Bless up.
The work keep me off of the show and off of the platform, but I'm still around. I'm still participating when I can. Like today is a free day, so we're there. You hear that?
Yeah, man.
Bless up, man. Bless up.
Be great. Continue to be great, Dan. Just continue to be great. Here, sir.
Yeah, man.
Give thanks.
Yeah, man. Stephen Wright says that this will be the most unproductive period until Christmas in terms of work.
Look, I'm not saying management people shouldn't challenge what Qatar does or ask them to be better. But management, Europe has been on this moral high ground. When Sterling played Chelsea in here racism, when you go to Austria, but when you go to Hungary, when you go to Poland, when you go to Russia, the same thing. But then you want to be on this moral high ground as if you're perfect. You're not perfect.
Yeah, I don't think they should be the ones. You understand? I don't think, like I said, I don't think Europe should be the ones who say this. I mean, people must not forget how Switzerland got the World Cup because remember, Switzerland is a conglomerate around Switzerland, not really. They don't have elections, and people must not. Was it Chile? So there have been other questionable World Cups, Remember, the people in Brazil were moved, because they didn't want them to be seen, when they were doing all the World Cup thing, they had to relocate people, forcibly, So every time there's a World Cup somewhere, some things happen. It's just that this is, I think, been taken too far, and we just need to focus on the football. But good point, Cranky. Again, big up to everyone. Join us 7:45 in the morning, right? Make sure you get your breakfast ready. Iran versus England. Saka at them. Kane at them. Trent Alexander-Arnold.
On the bench.
Right back in the dressing room. Coach Adi Edwards, when is the semifinals? Tuesday?
We play starts Tuesday evening, 6:15, National Stadium. Manning Cup semifinals.
What? And they play
Jamaica College Saturday evening, 6:15.
Sabina Park.
National Stadium again.
Yeah.
Wow.
So is JC the favorite for the Manning Cup? Is JC the favorite?
Yeah, man. Down at the bottom of the barrel there, don't say it nice.
Hey,
Don't I bottom of the soup pot today.
the KC
Don't
man
so nice.
trying to play what possum? Are they trying to play possum?
No. I heard JC is the best team Manny Cup. I think I heard Manny's man said so. So what are you talking about? I heard you said JC was the best team in Manny Cup.
No, I hear that the name has been changed.
To what?
Jamaica United of all over road.
Well, I mean, there are a number of United schools in Jamaica, and they get more United over time.
They call him Jamaica United, man. They don't call it Jamaica College again.
Well, if you have resources, you can source talent from anywhere the talent resides.
Yeah, man, I heard that the man them break all the FFP in the transfer market. People, big up all my friends of Jamaica College. They defeated Mannings by 4-0 yesterday. You understand me?
Wait, Mannings, you actually have the you actually spread it out loud. I thought you would just skip over that and move on.
Listen, Cranky, I'm telling you, it's an international assembly team we play. It's not a local team.
So is that saying more about your deficiencies than about JC's ability to recruit talent?
I am telling you, sir, we can't manage. I mean, that's heavy recruiting, you know. It's like a Caribbean all-star, you know. It is. The football is in a serious state, and you know, yeah, I said, but football.
But will it improve the football, or will it make the football less? Which one will it do? Don't better players bring up the talent level?
Yeah, but this is just 1 year. It's not like they are here over 4 or 5 year period.
But I'm sure they're bringing in talent like Real Madrid every year. They just churn up the talent and bring more talent in. I'm sure they're bringing like Real Madrid.
I just have this little discomfort with it, but it's me. Maybe it's okay. I don't know. I just feel like this can't be the way. This can't be the way. But we're not going to get along. We're not going.
So Jamaica high school is coming like U.S. colleges.
No.
They have the ability to
But I'm telling you, people stop calling it. They either call it JCFC or Jamaica United.
Are the kids going to class, though? Here's the thing. Are the kids going to class? That's the question.
That's the question.
Yeah. If they're going to class, it's fine with me. I think the better talent you get, it's like the Premier League. The better talent you get, it forces you to uplift your skill and your ability. So.
so one college, Clarendon College. But people, thank you so much for tuning into the show again. 7:45 tomorrow. We'll have some other persons on the panel. A couple of the persons who you didn't see today, you'll see them in the morning. We'll have several reggae boys on and other coaches joining us in the morning to discuss the game with us. So please tune in 7:45. Before you go, remember to hit the like button. If you have not yet subscribe to the platform. Thanks to Stan Cranky, Coach Andrew Edwards. The discussion is so good, because we support the same club. There's something about supporting Arsenal that raises your stock mentally, right? If you need to improve where you are in terms of your intellect and thing, support.
And it's fun. I suggest you make these statements at the end of the year. Your program is recorded, and be careful. I'm going to be humble and wait until things progress toward the end of the year, then I can have my say.
Yeah. So big up one and all. Thank you so much. I am Mannings Man. This has been I Am Sure Sports, and as usual, when it gets to this point, we say we are over, and we are OUT out.
Yo, watch your bad dog. SK New heard this. The body out there. Sniper King I represent for I Am Sure Sports. You get to me, I say, when you want the latest news and sports and updates and all of that, check out I Am Sure Sports. You know the thing goes in. Remember, cover the whole island. Remember Kingston, Westmoreland, Galchester, Ocho-Race, Galtigo Bay. Everywhere. I Am Sure Sports. Check it out for the latest news and latest updates. Sniper King I represent. Where them feel like? Ha. Yeah, someone on for the food from young, from with their knee height. I Am Sure Sports. Yeah, dog.